So this video I'll discuss about like defect life cycle on a detailed way. So first thing is like that, what is the defect life cycle basically? So defect life cycle also known as in bug life cycle. Okay, it is not like that biological bug and all. It is kind of software related bug. So that main difference between defect and bug is that defect is kind of like you have already some like a number of test cases are there. Those cases need to be executed, and you have like seen like some cases are getting failed. So these things called as in defect. But bug is like it is kind of cases are not there, and while doing that exploratory testing or like customer has identified some scenarios like miss scenarios or something like that, something is not working properly, so that is called bug. So that is like a like normal question, like most of that interviewer asks like what is the difference between defect and bug. Now the process of defect actually goes through it have its own lifetime. So like that, why we need to learn the defect life cycle basically? So it actually help us as a tester, it help us to tracking, managing and resolving the defect, as well as that it can helps to like control our quality, and it will like transparent make the transparency of the testing procedure. And we also have some track regarding the defect, like what kind of defect need to solve. So those track we should have, and also developer also should have some kind of track for this. So the main purpose for defect life cycle is tracking, that's all. Now we have some predefined stages in defect life cycle. So like first stages is like new, assign, then open, then fixed, and then retest, and after that one verified, close, and reopen, deferred, and reject. So these are like total stages are there. Explain that each and every stage on detail way. So first thing is like new. So like suppose like a tester is like identifying some defect or identified some defect on the defect tracking tool, and he logged up. He logged that defect to a defect like in tool like JIRA, Azure, so like GitHub. So they are there. So this is then like we can say like this defect status is like new. So that status, to that status we get to know like defect is identified and reported. Now another thing is like assigned. So assigned means like here, like the effect is assigned to a particular developer or particular development team for fixing purpose. And this status actually represent that my defect like developer or someone is working on that defect. Now another thing is like open. Open strategy is like that when developers started analyzing and work on that defect, so then that developer changed that status from assign to open. So here that means like developer is started working on this defect and he's spending some time on that defect. So this status mean like this thing. And then we have fixed. So fixed is nothing but here like it is kind of, you can say defect is fixed means like defect uh, status is going on, and defect is fix has ready for retesting. So like now here tester jobs will come to picture. Tester will have to cherry pick this defect, and tester should like test this defect again and run that those scenarios that have missed or that have this defect. By that defect has related to those scenarios we need to run it. So this is like fixed status. Then if that tester are started testing on that defect again, or tester are started executing that same test cases again for that related to that defect, then we have to change the status from fixed to retest. So here that means like tester has he started checking this defect. Now once it is done, once like tester has confirmed that defect has been successfully fixed, then the status will be verified. So verified in the sense of like this status represent that like the defect has resolved, and there is no issue is there on the defect. Sometimes what happens, defect actually comes with that some cluster defect or some nested defect, that we have some parent defect, then we have some child defect. Also that defect actually cause some kind of regression defect and all. So those things also including on the defect life cycle. Now we have closed. If the defect is resolved and there is no further action is required, all thing is working properly, no script need to be executed, nothing, then we that tester can change the status to close. So that means that defect lifecycle has been completed. And if it is not completed, then if there still defect is there or something got missed from the tester end, then or some development team or developer end, then we have to reopen the defect again. So that is called reopen. And then we have one another status like that, deferred means like defect is acknowledged, means defect is there on our software, but it will fix on that future release, or like development team or developers are so busy on that current work or current sprint cycle, they are not able to fix this defect now onwards, and these defects they will fix on their next release or next cycle. So this is called deferred state. So that means like it is kind of a documented state there, like developer like want to try to portray this defect as in like it will fix later. And then we have a rejected state. So rejected states in the sense of like that, suppose tester have raised some defect, and then developer or development team has rejected that defect because they only tell like development team don't consider this as a defect because some functionality still not has built yet, something need to be built, or it is still in that pipeline, development pipeline. Or suppose that defect or this one should be it is not in like defect, it is kind of enhancement or some kind of feature it is. So they change that defect status as a rejected. So sometimes what happen, like development team and test team have has some like conflict going on because of this rejected status and all. Then we have some a kind of example of defect life cycle, like we have some kind of visual flow and chart. That chart I show you guys, and let me show this chart again. So guys, this is that chart where that it started from new, then it started, then it changed to assign, then open, then in process, then fixed. If it is fixed or resolved, then it should be verified and closed. If it is not, then it should be reopened. On assign state, we have three options like deferred, rejected, and duplicate. Defect got duplicate sometimes, that some different tester has tested that same feature or same module, then they have raised that similar kind of defect with a different way. So that is comes under duplicate status, guys. Now we have some defect management based practices. So why the defect management is needed? So it is like that a clear kind of documentation where that we get to know about known error, we get to know about some critical error, and it is kind of regularly like defect status, we can track it, we can prioritize the defect based upon our severity and priority. And also it is like a very kind of way to communicate with that tester and developer, like different kind of guys like development team or testing like team. So that's why that defect management is needed, and it is a kind of some best practices are there. Now some common challenges also there, like sometimes miscommunication has happened, sometimes some delay should happen from development side, sometimes they are not understanding the defect properly, so they have changed that defect, they have not changed that defect status. And sometimes like defect they are not like accepting that defect also, so this kind of problem is still there. Now let's talk about conclusion. Conclusion in the sense of, so defect lifecycle is a crucial process for managing the software and for a tester point of view. So here each and every stage is plays a vital role, because that if we miss that any kind of stages or stage, then we cannot ensure that our software is a good quality software. And sometimes customer also need that defect report, so they also looking for that defect report. So proper defect management actually makes that our testing as in more efficient, and it should be like then my product should be like higher quality product, if that we can like we can track the defect properly. So guys, thank you for watching, thank you for your valuable time. If you guys have any kind of questions and all, please comment down.